think I got it figured out. I think I got it. You know how it always seems like your weekend is way too short? At least with mine, I think I have found out why. I have finally figured out the mystery of the universe. It's Later with Mo Kelly. We're live on YouTube, Instagram, and the iHeartRadio app. Here's what I realized. I had this epiphany late Friday night, and I thought about it all 25 minutes of my free time over the course of the weekend. And then it hit me. When I left out of here Friday night, it was what time? 10:30-ish, okay? Who's going to do something that late on a Friday night? Probably not me. There are those times we try to go to the movies, but by and large, I'm not doing anything on a Friday night. So the first night of the weekend is done. I'm getting home maybe around 11:30, then maybe watch some TV, and I'm out like a light by 12:30, 1 o'clock. I get up at 7 in the morning, and then I teach 3 classes of Hapkido. So my Friday night is gone. I'm up Saturday early, and then I'm into Saturday afternoon. So honestly, my whole weekend has been relegated to one night. That's Saturday evening, maybe Saturday afternoon, and then Saturday night. That's it. Because Sunday, it's all about preparing for Monday. I have things I need to do for different outlets. I had to prepare for my Spectrum News hit this morning. So that's always done on Sunday. I have a syndicated audio commentary that I send out. I have to send that out on Sunday. So Sunday is pretty much a work day. Friday is a work day. Saturday, I have about 6 hours to play. So when I finally wake up on Monday, I realize the weekend really didn't exist. And I really can't complain because Twala has even less time than me. Okay, but I'm selfish like that. And Mark Ronner, good evening. You always told me it's always about me. So I want to lean into that.
Yeah.
To start off tonight. And I realized I don't have much of a weekend. I have a day. Just a day.
Well, we all have stuff going on outside of work. But you do chronically overbook yourself. I think we need some counseling for you.
No. You are correct on that. There are things that I say yes to far too early, far too unnecessarily, where it would be easier to just say no. But at the time, I do mean yes. And then I realize when it comes around, no, I didn't.
I think you don't think you exist unless you're being seen somewhere on some sort of media.
No, that's really untrue.
No, I get it, because it's like when you say yes to a midnight screening, 2 weeks away.
Yeah.
But when it gets to it, you're like, oh, I'm going to a midnight screening.
Or like BBC will hit me earlier in the day, like 12 o'clock in the afternoon, saying, hey, can you do this commentary? Can you come on after your show? And at the time, yeah, I'm wide awake and everything. In the middle of my day, sure, why not? I can do it 10 hours from now. And then 10 hours will pass, and I've done a lot between that time and the time of the commentary, and I realized I should have said no.
Do you know how many things I've turned down because I just don't feel like being up at that hour of the morning? Like I turned down Howard Stern once because I didn't want to wake up early.
But I talk about this whenever I give my public speeches because I don't feel anyone can outwork me. I part of the reason why I've made some opportunities for myself over the years is, like BBC, no one wanted to do it at 2 or 3 in the morning LA time, which sometimes it is that late/early.
Mm-hmm.
And so since I was one of the few people who was willing to do it, they kept calling. And I felt obligated because they kept calling, so I kept doing it. And then after a certain point, you realize I don't want to do a political commentary or talk about what's going on in America at 2, 3 in the morning on a work night after I've already had a very long day. And then you realize maybe you're saying yes too often.
Time to get lazier. Follow my example.
Maybe there's some times where I've politely declined. There's some times that I will finally say no, but more times than not, I'm not going to say no because I'm greedy like that. And then I realize I'm spent come Monday. You know,
there's a cost to everything. Pardon me. There's a cost to everything, Mo.
You all right now?
Yeah.
I'll be okay.
I spiked his food. I'm trying to poison him. That's all. What are you eating anyhow?
I'm not eating anything. I just forgot to take an allergy pill today.
Oh, okay. My condolences. I'm sorry.
That's okay. I'm going to come in and sit next to you. You'll love it.
I appreciate that. We know that that's not going to happen because you hate people and you don't want anyone close to you.
Well, you busted me on that. Okay.
Coming up on the show tonight, since I said good evening to Mark Ronner, we have some good news and we have some bad news in the next segment, talking about what's going on in Pasadena, Altadena, and the kids. And when we have any type of of tragedy or any type of disaster, sometimes we forget about the long-term implications of what it means for kids in their education, kids in their socialization, how they're dealing with it on an emotional level. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about Loma Alta Park, which is reopened, and the contamination of soil at Pasadena schools. So literally thousands of kids are going to be impacted. And at the bottom of the hour is sometimes the news is meant specifically for me in this show. We have to tell you about the man who was attacked by a coyote. I said a coyote, and used his bare hands to strangle it to death after he was attacked by a coyote. And then we have to tell you about the unfortunate story of a man who was murdered by bees, a bee attack. Same show, same segment. We get to talk about coyotes and bees. We need to kill them all.
Murdered by bees?
Murders.
Oh.
Wait a minute. How did it couldn't have been involuntary manslaughter by the bees? I mean, what are you talking about?
We don't know what the man was doing.
He was mowing a lawn.
Oh, that right there is actually self-defense then.
Were the bees in the grass?
The bees were obviously in the grass, buzzing around, getting pollen from flowers that are low to the ground.
No.
Here he comes. Bees are like, hey, man, we're trying to get some pollen. Wait. Just wait 1 second.
I don't think they had that.
Hey, sir, just hold on. We have a little grouping here. We're going to be out of your way in just a minute. He was like, the bees better move out my way.
I feel attacked.
Me and Mo Kelly.
I feel like I'm being mocked. I feel like I'm not getting any respect for the fact that I don't like bees. I have a phobia around bees.
I'm saying you're literally maligning these bees for being bees.
Stephen's over there playing bee sound effects and laughing, and Twala is undermining my whole story about men dying by bees. Did you know that people die in bee attacks to the tune of 72 per year? 72 per year.
What you mean is only 72.
Well, it could be worse.
I'm on the side of the bees.
Well, those 72, they had it coming.
Yeah.
Oh, what skirt
they were asking
wearing?
for it?
Yeah.
Hey, what were they wearing?
This beehive is just too close to my house. I'm gonna get it down. Oh God, Jesus, no! And that was the end of that one.
Why is it the bees always get the benefit of the doubt? They're the ones who are killing people.
The bees are literally always minding their own business.
No, they're not.
Bees are never actually looking for a fight. They know if they sting, they die.
No.
They know that.
Why did they have stingers? They're obviously looking for a fight.
Purely for self-defense. And they can only use it once. You know what kind of commitment that is? I sting, I die. But this one right here, this one's swatting me for no reason. Oh, he's got it coming.
Yeah, Tuala's 100% correct on this one. You don't see bees doing
Stephen,
home invasions. You don't see bees robbing 7-Elevens. You got to go out of your way to mess with bees. So if that's the case, you deserve whatever happens.
No, I'm not saying that people are better. I'm saying I want the bees dead. I'm not saying that people are any better. Yes, we are evil. Yes, we are killers. Yes, we are murderers. But by the way, kill all the bees.
Well, I hate to break this to you, but since we're all connected, you know, the scientists all say once the bees go, we're not far behind.
I know it's going to destroy the ecology.
I mean, there's some middle ground of just not screwing with the bees so you don't have to get stung to death.
Or you can kill them all.
Then we die.
Well, okay. Sometimes you got to make hard choices.
Do you see how this is wrong? You see how wrong this is?
No, not at all. Not at all.
You're making my
I think
case.
Ivan Drago was right. He was right. And before we finish out the hour, speed cameras are coming to LA. We told you about this last year. Well, they're just about here. They'll be here next year. But we have more information about what you'll have to do to avoid them, if you can avoid them, and some of the penalties attached. And tomorrow night, I told you last week, but I want you to remember, tomorrow night, we're giving away Harry Potter and the Cursed Child tickets to the Hollywood Pantages Theater. We're giving away not one, not two, but 3 pairs of tickets to see Harry Potter and the Cursed Child. That's going to be tomorrow night. And yes, you're going to have to watch the live video simulcast on YouTube. And speaking of which, we're live right now on YouTube. We're live right now on Instagram. And we're live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. When we come back, we're going to talk about Loma Alta Park and the Pasadena schools. Right now, we're going to go to Mark Ronner in the KFI 24-hour newsroom. KFI, Mr. Mo Kelly. We're live on YouTube, live on iHeartRadio app, and live on Instagram. Good news, bad news. We remember, or we should remember, back to the pandemic. One of the major discussion points was what was going to happen to children because their normal routine had been basically eradicated. They weren't going to school. They were not socializing. They were not enjoying those relationships that you and I had growing up dealing with other students. And I think that's very important. I think most parents would tell you, most teachers would tell you, when you have that disruption, it harms their learning and it harms their growth and maturation as kids. Something similar, I would say, happened in the wake of the fires here in Southern California, because you had students who lost their homes. You had students who lost their schools. You had students who lost that routine of learning, and then they suffered beyond just what we would have thought that most people would have endured during the fires. Some of that you can see is finally coming back. That's how long this road is going to be. And when I tell you about Altadena's Loma Alta Park being reopened after months, it may be more symbolic for some, but I believe that there is a substantive gain for kids having that place to play, having that place to relax, having that place to be with their friends. I know a lot of folks who may not live in a home situation. Maybe they live in an apartment situation. Then you have a park, a place to play, a place to meet, and a place to resume those friendships.
The skies over Altadena may have been gray today with a side of drizzle, but the smiles and laughter, the joy at Loma Alta Park more than brightened the day.
The fact that we can come to the park and play and be with the neighbors and all the community again is amazing. They love it.
It was the grand reopening of the new and greatly improved park, much of it destroyed in the Eaton fire.
It's the start of the new beginning.
For Michael Amons and his boys, Jude and Zane, who lost their home in the fire, today was the start of a new chapter.
It makes me feel happy because more people are coming together after the tragedy.
What does being here at the park mean today?
I don't know. Joy. Joy in bringing people together.
From the specially designed gathering spaces for the adults to colorful murals to 2 playgrounds. This one, a 3-story state-of-the-art play structure, an inclusive one for kids of all abilities, built with the help of a multi-million-dollar grant from Fire Aid, the benefit concert.
Well, wait a minute. That's good to know, because we talked about Fire Aid. We talked about it for a number of weeks, and sometimes it gets lost. Like, well, where does the money go? How do we know that it's going to the places and the people that it's supposed to? There's an example right there. Now, I didn't grow up with Loma Alta Park, but Twali, you know it much better than I do.
Oh, absolutely. I know Loma Alta Park like the back of my hand. This is our favorite park, because this is the park that had the swimming pool. And even though we used to have to walk past Altadena Block Crip to get there, we still did, because that was the park to go to. But
don't run past that. That is actually important, because people were willing to go into dangerous situations just to get to the park.
Just to get to the park. And because of that, because of how kids just went to this park, and this was a park where all neighborhoods in Altadena would go, because, again, it had the pool, the only real pool in Altadena. There was an almost hands-off approach to a lot of the gangs in the area. So this was a safe park to go to. And from even fast forward to, 2000 and now, this is a park where my niece was taking tennis lessons. This is a park where the farmers market was, the Altadena Farmers Market. This is a park where so much of the community came together. And to see it burn down, it was like, for a while, everyone in the community was like, this is quite possibly one of the most tragic losses for the city, because this was a nucleus, a meeting place for everyone. So to see it come back, and I looked at a lot of the live stream, and a lot of friends and family members were up there, and it was just a beautiful, beautiful time.
What I noticed was, and you heard it in the piece, how you had people who had lost their houses but still brought their kids to the park.
Yes.
Because they knew they'd be able to find their friends. They'd be able to have some sense of normality. And one of the children said joy. That was one of the expressions of that. Because, yes, it's one thing as a child to lose your house. And I know I can remember back when I was a child thinking about that loss of security, that loss of safety, that loss of stability and what the house represents. That you're going to be okay, that you have your toys, that you have a place to go home to. And to be able to have just a little bit of that come back in the park says a lot. Not only about the strength of the community, but the importance of having that meeting place. That's the good news. Unfortunately, there's also some not so good news about not the exact same community, but still how it impacts children as well.
Nearly half of Pasadena's public schools have contaminated soil with dangerous levels of lead, arsenic, even chromium. All this following the Eaton fire. Testing found lead more than 3 times the state limit at some of those campuses.
Let's be honest. If they're finding that right now, we're going to be talking about this story probably for years. We don't know about what that is going to mean for kids in those schools for the next 5-6 years. We don't know.
Including spots where kids eat lunch and enter school. Parents say they've been begging for testing for months and accuse the district of downplaying the risks. The district says affected areas will be restricted. Cleanup will happen over the summer. But for a lot of families, that's not enough. The full test results and school maps now posted on Pasadena Unified's website.
Okay, so yes, let's say you have the cleanup over the summer. Right? You know that you still have these displaced students for the foreseeable future. You tell me you're going to do the cleanup over the summer. I don't know, and this echoes a lot of the complaints and concerns of the parents. I don't know if it's actually going to be done to the level that my satisfaction as a parent, that I feel comfortable putting my child back in that situation, because I know schools, school districts, it's all about getting kids back in schools so they can get funds from the state for having those kids in schools. I don't know if the school district can adequately balance their needs with the needs of the children. As a parent, I would be concerned.
The problem with this is that from the beginning, no one in the city has been upfront and honest about the contamination of the soil after the fire. Originally, the testing came back, the levels of lead, the levels of asbestos, zinc, chromium, all that stuff, yeah. It's minor to non-existent. And then LA Times did a story and they said, whoa, what were you looking at? Because this ground is filled with this stuff. Absolutely just overwhelmingly so. And this is what led to the schools having to test. So my thing is, had the LA Times story not come out, the expose on FEMA's alleged testing, had that not come out, these kids would have been walking around these campuses just kicking this stuff up, getting it on their shoes, getting it on their clothes, getting it on their food. Then what? Then years from now, we would have had sick kids and it would have been like, oh my goodness, we didn't know. What?
And you have to balance this about the desire and the need to get back to where you were before the fires. And that includes rebuilding homes. That includes rebuilding schools and other structures. Like, you want everyone back as soon as possible. But these are some of the other things which have to be addressed first. You can't send kids back into school and have them poisoned. You can't rebuild on ground which is contaminated. And yes, we want to get back to normal. We wanted that more than anything, but we can't do that until it's actually safe. And I don't need them to lie to you, lie to me, and endanger our children in the process, because we want to hurry up and get kids back in school for the purpose of getting money from the state. It's Later with Mo Kelly. KFI AM 640 live everywhere in the iHeartRadio app. We're live on YouTube and Instagram. And when we come back, we got to tell you about the coyote and the bees. And they all need to die. Well, at least the coyote died. But the bees, they got to go. We'll tell you in just a moment. Don't shake your head at me.
I'm shaking it.
Don't shake your head at me.
You can tune in online now and see me shake my head at you.
All lives matter except bee lives.
You're being scolded.
Mark Ron with the news. It's Later with Mo Kelly. KFI AM 640. We're live everywhere in the iHeartRadio app. We're live on YouTube. And we're live on Instagram. And I talk about coyotes from a very, very serious vantage point. I talk about them because I'm concerned about what they do in my neighborhood. I see them every single day. They run up right behind my house. My security cameras always see them. They always record them, track their movements. They're way too close to my 2 dogs. And I would do anything for them except maybe, save them if a bunch of bees should start stinging them. They might have to fend for themselves. Yeah.
Keep them away.
Yeah. I probably would not be the person to save them at that point. It'll have to be their mom. But I am serious when I say about coyotes, kill them all. And I believe we have underestimated the amount of danger. When I say we, I'm talking about Southern California. We pet them, we feed them, we act like they're domesticated pets, and they are not that at all. And when I came across this story, it kind of highlights my point, and maybe we're just too comfortable with them. But there was the North Carolina man who was taken to the hospital after authorities said he was bitten multiple times by a coyote. According to the man, he said that he saw a coyote first following him, and he tried to run away from it. He did not engage the coyote. While running away, the man fell. The coyote jumped on him and started to bite him. The man fought with the coyote, as the story goes, for about 10 minutes, and he was able to strangle it to death. There's a picture and video of the coyote and the man we're showing right now on YouTube. Don't laugh at the man. He went through a harrowing experience.
I could just imagine.
The man was taken to the hospital with multiple bite wounds, and the coyote was tested for rabies, but we don't know the results of that. But the bottom line is, this was a grown man. If you're watching us on YouTube, I would guesstimate he's maybe at least 6 feet tall. 6 feet tall, and the coyote attacked him. Well, if the coyote is going to attack a 6-foot grown man, it's fair to say it's going to attack children. It's going to attack other dogs, especially small dogs.
Interestingly enough, we only have his account of this. We don't have the coyote's account.
So you think he just ran out the house and decided to kill a coyote with his bare hands just to see if he could?
You know what? This could be one of these idiots who's like, you know what? I bet I could take on a gorilla. He's out there like, get out of here, coyote, testing the coyote. The coyote's like, grr. And he's like, I'm not afraid of you.
This is not when animals attack. The coyote earned his murder.
The coyote probably was like, hey, man, I'm trying to tell you, man, don't run up on me. He was like, I'm not scared. I'm not afraid of you. All we know is I ran, and the coyote jumped on my back and started biting me.
Let's say the man ran up on the coyote. Are you actually trying to argue that a man could run faster than a coyote?
There's no way. And why did he run in the first place? But there's no way he was going to outrun a coyote.
He wasn't going to outrun a coyote, but he could possibly get to safety. But if the man is chasing a coyote, he's not going to chase down a coyote.
He was not going anywhere. He was standing out there trying to test himself.
Oh, you mean standing his ground?
He was out there. I'm 6 feet.
It's North Carolina. I'm pretty sure that's a stand your ground state.
And, he might have
no duty to retreat.
All I'm saying is we only have one witness account.
Well, that's too bad. I'm so glad that I'm so glad that the coyote is the one that died. Anyhow, in a less this breaks my heart. A man has died in a bee attack despite trying to drive away from the bees. Drive away. A Texas man.
Drive away?
Yes. Oh. A Texas man was killed by a swarm of bees after allegedly disturbing a hive while mowing the lawn.
Oh, no. I think I said exactly that, right? I think I said exactly that. He disturbed the hive.
That's not a death sentence.
Oops.
I'm so sorry.
If you should knock on my door and disturb me, doesn't mean I get to shoot you.
If you try to come into my house with a chainsaw, are you telling me I can't shoot you dead? Because that's the exact same.
Nope.
He came into the bee's house with the equivalent of a chainsaw.
No. The bees were not on the lawn. He was mowing the lawn, not the flowers.
He was disturbing the hive.
Stephen Daniel was doing yard work near an abandoned building when, according to the story, he roused the bees and was quickly overcome. Daniel frantically jumped into his truck to get away, but the bees followed him inside. Look, Castle Doctrine, you can't chase people after they leave the house.
It's he said, they said. I'm taking the bees side.
That didn't even make sense.
They followed him inside his truck and continued to sting him until he crashed into another person's property.
Okay, so what is he doing by this abandoned property, just mowing the lawn? Well, it's abandoned. No one lives here.
I would like to ask him,
I'm
but
going to mow
dead.
the lawn. No. You know what he was doing? He was out there trying to come up on some free honey. Okay. He obviously thought he was going to break into this nest and get away with it.
He was mowing the lawn. He was not climbing the walls.
He got handled. Those bees said, take this. They jumped his punk ass, and he died for it.
Officers immediately evacuated the driver from the area and placed him inside a police vehicle a distance from the initial attack to escape further bee stings.
How did they get into the truck? Do you have his windows rolled down?
Well, you have to imagine if you're opening the door to the truck, they're going to follow you in the truck.
It couldn't have been that many that followed him in.
Oh, according to this, yes. Officers requested an ambulance, and the driver, while in the ambulance, Daniel, the victim, became unresponsive and stopped breathing. Life-saving measures were administered, and the driver was rushed to the local hospital where he succumbed to the effects of his bee stings, and he was pronounced dead on arrival. And the CDC says an average of 72 Americans die every year from bee, wasp, and hornet stings. 72. Okay, that is 6 per month.
That is a paltry number at best.
That's more than one a week.
And I don't know. I mean, Mark, maybe you see the flaws in this story that I do, but this man, to me, sounds as if he went looking for trouble. No one told him to go behind abandoned buildings with his lawnmower that we know of.
It's very suspicious.
Hashtag all lives matter.
Except for the bees.
Bee lives matter?
They're not lives.
Of course they are.
They're insects. No, they're not lives.
They weren't bothering anybody. They weren't mowing that guy's lawn.
No. I want to see. How do we know that they were citizens? I want to see some papers.
Do you think the bees took out their little tiny lawnmowers and went screwed with the guy? No.
Need to show that they were citizens and they were supposed to be.
Show me your papers.
These were not Africanized killer bees. Okay, these were not Africanized killer bees that migrated here without getting proper documents.
How do you know? We have to see their papers to know.
They probably already smoked them out.
What do you mean, probably?
These are good old American bees practicing good old American self-defense against an intruder.
Castle doctrine does not extend beyond the boundaries of the property.
Bee lives matter too.
An attack's an attack.
Bee Kung Fu took this old dude out.
Speed cameras when we come back. It's later with Mo Kelly. KFIM 640. We're live everywhere in the iHeartRadio app. We're live on YouTube. And don't forget, tomorrow we're going to be giving away tickets to Harry Potter and the Cursed Child at the Hollywood Pantages Theater. Tomorrow, not around, you have to watch the YouTube video to find out. Now, Mark Ronner has the news. It's later with Mo Kelly, KFI AM 640 at YouTube and the iHeartRadio app and Instagram for that matter. Let's talk about these speed cameras, which are coming to LA, specifically Southern California, and other cities around the state next year. And Assembly Bill 645, we talked about it when it was first being debated. It now allows for 6 California cities, LA, Oakland, San Jose, Long Beach, and Glendale, to install these automated cameras to photograph and ticket drivers who speed. We all remember the red light cameras that would ticket you if you went through the intersection. Then all of a sudden you get a ticket and a fine in the mail. Well, it's something like that, but it's going to be tiered relative to how fast you are going over the speed limit. And I understand what they're trying to do. But if you're going to ticket people relative to how fast they're going, then you have to have a much stiffer penalty than just money after a certain point. Here's what I mean. When these cameras go into effect, and there's going to be a 60-day warning period before they officially go into effect. But when they're officially in effect, breaking the speed limit by 11 to 15 miles an hour, let's say it's a 25-mile-an-hour zone, and you're driving anywhere from 36 to 41 miles an hour, that will be a $50 fine. If you're doing 15 to 25 miles per hour over the speed limit, that's a $100 fine. So let's say you're doing 50 and a 25. And I say that's only 100. If you're between 26 to 99 miles an hour over the speed limit, let's say you're doing 130 in a 40-mile-an-hour zone. It's a $200 fine. And if you're driving over 100 miles an hour over the speed limit, Let's say you're doing 155 in a 50-mile-an-hour zone. That's a $500 fine. I'm thinking after a certain point, if you've tripled the speed limit, regardless of how much you may be over the speed limit, if they can send you a ticket, they might as well send you a warrant in the mail for your arrest, because clearly you are engaging in reckless driving. What's the point of having a speed camera if there's only going to be a financial penalty? I'm being serious now. And I don't like cameras just watching everything I'm going to do. But if you could actually have a speed camera and I can consciously break the speed laws by more than 100 miles an hour, think of anywhere. Let's say a school zone is only 25 and you're doing 126 in a school zone. And the worst that can happen is a $500 fine?
I was going to say, does the cop deliver it to your house and then take you off? Because that's ridiculous.
That would make more sense, because if a cop actually saw you do that, you would be arrested on the spot.
Exactly.
On the spot. And if you have photographic evidence, why would you not then put a warrant out for the rest of that person, or put some sort of boot on their car? You're talking about 126 miles an hour in a school zone, presumably, because they actually put it on the tier sheet as far as how fast you can go. So clearly they have considered the possibility of someone going more than 100 miles an hour over the speed limit. And I'm not saying that anyone who, is driving that fast can afford it. $500 is still $500. But if you're willing to put that many lives in danger, the penalty should be steeper and stiffer than just $500. In the way that they've made the the street takeovers felonies, and they're going to impound the car. Why would you not impound the car? If you're going to take a photo of someone's license plate and you're going to send them a ticket, well, clearly you have their registration information. Just go send the tow truck to the house and pick it up, and because that's what they would do if you didn't pay your other parking tickets. They put a boot on your car, and some cities, they would even tow your car. Why would they not tow it here? It just makes no sense. What's the point of having these cameras? Oh, I got it. They just want more revenue. Well, you can get even more revenue if you impound someone's car. And clearly, if you're going 100 miles over the speed limit, you have earned your car being impounded. You should not. If you have photographic and video evidence of someone breaking the law in that wanton way, why would you get another chance to do it in the same vehicle? Or you have someone who just thumb their nose. Yeah, I'm driving a Lamborghini. I can afford a $500 fine. I don't care. In fact, let me go around the block and do it again so you can get me on camera. Oh, okay, that's my second infraction, so now it's $1,000? Why don't we do it again? Make it $5,000. That doesn't deter the behavior. That doesn't inspire someone to maybe not do it. It has to be punitive after a certain point. Yes, you have a 60-day grace period so people can get used to it. But after that, usually, put it this way, go 55 miles an hour over the speed limit. Let's say you're going out to Vegas. And I'm just telling you, I've done it. I had a Honda S2000, and I was driving to Vegas, and I wanted to see how fast the car could drive. And I was at the upper limit. I was in the 120s, all right? And I think the speed limit was 75 at that point of highway. So I'm a good 50 miles over the speed limit. I'm sure if radar had clocked me and the California Highway Patrol or Nevada State Trooper had clocked me, I probably would have gone to prison, go to jail at least for the weekend. But why would you not do that if someone's doing 100 miles an hour over the speed limit in presumably a residential area? Or even on the highway. I mean, why would you not do that? That's the things, like you come up with these ideas. They may be well-intentioned, but did no one think this through to its logical conclusion? It's on the rate sheet, as they say, for 100 miles an hour, and you're only charging money. You're not taking their license. You're not taking their car. Then what's the point? I know if I don't pay my parking tickets, and everyone knows who's ever got a parking ticket, if you don't pay your parking tickets, what happens? You got to pay it to get your registration. They're going to get their money. And if you don't, then, after a certain point, they'll impound your car. Can I say meter maid? Am I allowed to say meter maid?
Sure.
Okay, I'm going to say it. The meter maid, if they see your car with all those parking tickets on your registration, then they'll just call the tow truck. There are penalties for far less aberrant behavior. Far less. But you're not going to have those same type of penalties. So what's the point of this? That's the whole point. What is the point of the speed camera if I can drive as fast as I want with no real penalty? Because if you look at the story, it's all about, speeding leads to all these accidents and so many people dying every single year. Well, but if it's not an adequate deterrent, then what's the point?
Well, the other point here is that when it's only fines, it's only poor people who are really getting punished.
So it's just a tax on the community.
If you're rich, you can afford to break the law.
That was my point with the whole Lamborghini analogy.
Yeah.
And that's the point. Who do you think is most likely to go 100 miles an hour over the speed limit?
And if you're going that far over the speed limit in a school zone, just go straight to one of those supermaxes in Ecuador or Venezuela or wherever they're renditioning people to. I forget where it is.
If anything, it'll also
El Salvador.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Just send them all south.
Yeah. If anything, it would inspire those young punks that are on YouTube to just go even faster.
It's a dare.
Yeah,
it's like,
exactly.
Can I drive fast enough where the camera doesn't catch me? Or, and I know they do this in other cities, they steal people's cars and engage in this behavior. I'm being very serious. I know it's rampant in Chicago. They will steal cars and they'll do other stuff in it. Well, yes, if I want to test the lights, the cameras, and see if they can pick it up or whatever, or just have some fun with the police, then why not just drive 150 miles an hour?
Just take someone else's car for a test drive and hope that they're the ones who get blamed for it?
Yeah.
Nice. Also, things are getting too automated now. If I'm going to get busted for speeding or something like that, I want a cop to come to the car and have me terrified. I want him to wear the mirrored shades. I want him to shout at me.
That's the half-white of you.
You will respect my authority. The whole
Black
deal.
People don't want that.
I want the full meal deal. I don't want some anonymous ticket in the mail.
This is where we disagree. I would rather have the ticket in the mail than the interaction, and I'm not being funny.
I want the gut hanging over the belt, the whole 9 yards.
No, because here we go. Since we're going to have this conversation, I don't want there to be a misunderstanding. I don't want there to be a mistake as to my intentions or what is something that can be mistaken as a furtive movement. I don't want any of that.
But you might be able to talk your way out of it. Officer, I was in labor. I've got to go right now.
Oh, that's so very non-black of you.
Labor.
Yeah, we just have two different experiences. And I'm not saying that. I'm just saying it's just I would limit my interactions because I don't want a misunderstanding. That's it. And that's different from the efficacy of a speed camera. What they're proposing here is not going to do anything to stop speeding because there's no real weight to the penalty. But as far as wanting rather a law enforcement presence to hand me a ticket, to ask me to get out of my car, presumably, to maybe search my car, no, that's okay. We can do without all that. No, thank you. No, thank you.
Kind of antisocial of you, actually.
You damn right. It's later with Mo Kelly. KFI AM 640. We're live everywhere in the iHeartRadio app. When we come back, we're going to go beyond the box score with Jackie Ray. We'll talk to you in a moment.
The NFL coming out saying they disagree with kicker Harrison Butker and his controversial commencement address.
Beyond the Box Score with Jackie Ray.
If you ever mention any platform that I'm on again, I promise you, ESPN ain't got enough bosses to keep me off y'all for what I'm going to say. But don't play with me.
The NFL says they have no issue with players doing the signature dance of President-elect Donald Trump during their on-field celebrations.
She's acknowledging the reverse DEI that no one wants to talk about. She has a privilege, and she makes more money than the people who built this league.
Beyond the Box Score with Jackie Ray.
Where sports and society meet.
KFI, Instagram, YouTube. It's later with Mo Kelly. Let's get into it. Let's go beyond the box score with Jackie Ray, who joins me in studio. Jackie Ray, the first story I wanted to talk about this evening, and first, good evening to you.
Good evening.
Has to do with Joy Taylor, and people may not remember. It's the same Joy Taylor. The context is key here. The same Joy Taylor who was on leave for a while from Fox Sports. Mm-hmm. She still does her podcast, one of her podcasts. The executive that she was having an alleged affair with and gained favors, professional favors from, has been since let go and is part of this wider overarching lawsuit by a former Fox Sports employee about sexual favors being granted in exchange for like TV show hosting opportunities. All that's relevant because this is the same Joy Taylor, when asked about femininity, feminism, and asked about incels and hypermasculinity, said that she wants to legalize prostitution. Now I have to play the audio in
Please
somewhat
do.
entirety so you can hear the context, but you have to consider who is saying it given the controversy already surrounding her. So this is Joy Taylor in a conversation with Van Lathan. You may remember him. He used to be with TMZ.
Yes.
Do you care about the loneliness of the incel?
I think that male loneliness is a massive problem.
Okay, so
I think getting male lonelies are deteriorating society. Yes,
how
I think
do
it is
we
a
fix
massive
it?
problem.
What do you think the fix
One,
is?
I think we should legalize prostitution.
Okay.
I have been standing on this for decades, and I think that prostitution should be legalized.
Okay.
They will never do this, but that I think would make it would be a massive solve.
Massive solve, because that's a temporary loneliness fix, although it's effective. What would be a long-term fix to bringing people back together? What do you think?
Okay, so while it's a temporary fix, right? And many people will have some retorts to this. Of course, it's not a simple solve, but I believe that straight male biology, and particularly men who have this sort of anger, is because they don't get physical intimacy. And they have convinced themselves the type of physical intimacy they would like is, their favorite porn star or favorite OnlyFans girl or this unattainable beauty on Instagram who is never, ever, ever, ever going to you or meet you or talk to you ever. So they don't look for the physical intimacy that is around them. They don't go outside of their home. They don't go down to the local library. They don't go to their local bar. They don't go join a social group in order to meet people because they feel that this beautiful 10, whatever, is going to walk through their front door and suck their and that's never going to happen. But they sit there scrolling like, hey, in the DMs, and they believe then that the women are not responding to them because of feminism.
Lord
There's
Jesus.
a lot in there. There's a lot in there.
Cannot.
Joy Taylor is looked upon by many as having slept her way to the top. I'm just being honest. With that as context for this commentary where she talks about basically breaking down relationships to just a sexual component.
Right.
And feminism. Where do you come out on this?
First of all, if I was her attorney, I would drop her as a client immediately because she's basically dissolved intimate interactions as business transactions, which means heifer. Like, you did this.
It's like, are you talking about yourself or,
right.
or someone
and she's
else?
saying it so emphatically, like, hey, man, people got to get it where they get it. Let's make it make sense financially. So she's basically saying, hey, I know y'all know about this case. I did it. I think you should do it too, because otherwise men can't get what they need because men are so devolved emotionally that they can't crave true intimacy. Intimacy has nothing to do with sex. That's the entire part that she's missing. True intimacy has nothing to do with sex. Physicality, sexual intercourse, is different than intimacy. Intimacy says, I care about you. I care about how you feel. I care about you mentally. I care about you spiritually. She just gonna skip over all that and say, sleep your way to the top. That's what I took out of it.
She boiled it down to, if men could get more sex, we would have fewer mass shooters. That's what I read into that.
Yes, right. So, and let's be clear, mass shooters, 9 times out of 10 in this country, are not at the age where they should be having the abundance of sex that she is suggesting. So that kind of, she killed her own argument right there, unless you're saying you come out the womb aggressively and sexually frustrated. That doesn't make sense. So this is the problem. I have a problem with people, and I feel bad because I hope she don't hear this, because I've met Joy several times. I'll probably see her again soon. And if she hears this or sees this, I said what I said. I have a problem with people that don't think before they speak. Because you're dropping all these F-bombs because you want to look like you're in the boys club. You want to look like you're one of the guys. You're not one of the guys. And you have capitalized on not being one of the guys.
And I would say she has objectified herself.
Absolutely.
And how she presents herself in her work. And obviously how she got the job. There was a sexualized portion to that. Let's be honest.
Right.
She doesn't deny, or it hasn't been denied, that she has been sleeping with this married executive at Fox Sports.
Right.
Oh, and by the way, was the one who gave her job.
And they are encouraging them to settle. So attorneys don't encourage their clients to settle when they think they can win. So there's obviously some truth to that. And she's led with her frontal assets for a long time. And to
what
me,
do you mean, Jackie Ray?
You know what I'm saying?
No, what do you mean?
Listen.
I guess you have to tune into our YouTube show because we've been showing the video.
Frontal assets. But when you are, as a sports journalist, this business for a woman is very, very
I'm sorry. I thought you were going to say something else. You said this business.
I caught myself. But it's very, very hard. You have to prove yourself daily. And if you lead with your assets, that is all you are seen as. And this entire conversation that she has with a man lets the world know she is okay with you seeing her like that. She clearly don't have daughters.
No, she doesn't have any kids.
Does she have a mom? Where her mama at?
Well, she has a mother. She has a brother who's a Hall of Fame football player, and she has a nephew who was just drafted into the NFL. So
So what kind of conversations do you have with your nephew?
I'm saying that she comes from a very male-centered, let's say, locker room talk family, I would have to imagine.
So in that case, again, if you're having that locker room talk and your nephew or your brother comes home and say, yeah, this girl, she played like she didn't want it. What kind of conversation? She's literally leaning into male aggression is always going to be a thing. And instead of correcting that, we need to give into that.
You're being accommodated.
Yeah. And she should be ashamed.
It's Later with Mo Kelly. When we come back, let's talk about boxing because there is another Mike Tyson biopic in the works. I think this is the 3rd, the 4th, the 8th, and this one's going to star Jamie Foxx. I want to get your thoughts on that when we come back. It's Later with Mo Kelly, going beyond the box score with Jackie Ray, KFI AM 640, YouTube, and Instagram, iHeartRadio app. Mark Ronner with the news. KFI AM 640. It's Later with Mo Kelly. We're live on YouTube, live on the iHeartRadio app, and we're live on Instagram as we continue to go beyond the box score with Jackie Ray. And Jackie, I have always been and will always be a Mike Tyson fan.
Same.
I've had the opportunity to interview him twice. Both times I was scared to death. I'm being serious because if you're around Mike for any length of time, you know that he could possibly snap at any given moment.
Right.
He could.
But he's self-aware now.
He's self-aware.
And he will excuse himself when he feels that way.
And also he smokes enough weed to keep him moderately calm. I say that I know his public life arguably as well as anyone. And part of that has to do with there have been a number of biopics. There was a Hulu series. There was, I just know about the leading actors. There was one by Trevante Rhodes. There was one Michael Jai White.
Yeah.
And now they're talking about one which is going to be released with Jamie Foxx in the title role. This is biopic focusing on, I don't know, another part of his life. I mean, we know his story. He was a boxing phenom. He went to jail for rape. He continued boxing afterward, and it was, the crumble of his personal life, his marriage to Robin Givens, that infamous interview with Barbara Walters.
Right.
There's not any more to tell. Why another one? And why do you think Jamie Foxx would attach himself?
I was thinking about that because Jamie himself, I was like, okay, what time frame are we talking about right now? Because Jamie Foxx will never size-wise. He does a great impersonation of his voice.
But it's a caricature.
Yeah, and it's funny, it's comical, and a lot of Mike Tyson's life just isn't that. So how are you going to portray that? And look-wise, Michael Jai White would have been better, because he played Spawn. He has the thicker build, so.
And let's be honest, the gap in the teeth and all the subtleties.
There's subtleties that would have made you, like there was a moment when Will Smith played Ali. You forgot it was Will Smith and he was like Ali.
I forgot Jamie Foxx was Ray Charles.
Exactly. And so you're not going to forget that Jamie Foxx is playing Mike Tyson. And I love Jamie Foxx as an actor, but there's just too many physical differences that it's going to make it impossible for you to get past that. The only thing that I can think is that Jamie Foxx is at the point of his career where he doesn't really need to make anything else. So maybe he's doing this because the producer, writer, director, maybe they're friends. And he's like, if I attach my name to it, because when you're up and coming or if you're not really known in this town, it's just not going to get any traction. But if you attach a name like Jamie Foxx to it, then all of a sudden these doors are opening. That's literally the only thing that I can think of that makes this plausible for him.
Because I don't know if there's any real interest in telling Mike Tyson's story. We've heard it.
Right.
Or we remember it. We lived it. We've seen it. We've seen it told by another filmmaker, another director, the Hulu series, or I don't know what new ground you're going to break. And also in this post Me Too world, I don't know how palatable the darkness of Mike Tyson is.
And we like this new Mike Tyson. We like the funny Mike Tyson who's cracking jokes when he's winded after having one of these old man boxing matches. You know, he's just a kinder, gentler Tyson. So to your point, this went in the world of cancel culture, because we didn't cancel. Mike Tyson went to jail and people were talking about, when's he getting out so he can fight again? Like, we just didn't have that level of cancel culture back then. So why would he sign off on it? Why would he subject himself to the opinions of a generation of people that know nothing about him personally, never got to see him fight, don't understand that he's arguably the best heavyweight fighter of all time? Why would you even do this? I don't really know what the thought process,
other than the money, because he obviously gets for name, image, and likeness. He gets paid handsomely, I assume.
Right, but there's everything has a cost too.
Of course.
So now, if you're doing this for the money, once this generation that feels so entitled to have a thought about what you did way before they were born, that's going to affect your ability to make money in the future.
I mean, we look at it. Let's be real. If you go back and tell the Desiree Washington story of the forcible rape by Mike Tyson that he was convicted for, he spent 4 years in prison for, against the backdrop of a Diddy and a Cassie video, of a R. Kelly, and what we know now, or what we think of violence against women in today's world. I don't know how that story is either revelatory or a moneymaker or somehow ratings pleasing, depending on the format.
Unless you're intentional about keeping those aspects out and you're just telling maybe the mental, physical toll that boxing put on his life. You can't really do a biopic if that's what you're doing, though. So that's where the confusion for me comes in.
All those things come together. Yes, you can tell the Don King portion of the story, how Don King stole all his money. But you have to also talk about the Robin Givens portion, which ran parallel to that, and the alleged violence in their marriage. You know, I just don't know the appeal of a Mike Tyson story now, with Mike Tyson still living, and that story already having been told
multiple
at least
times.
Twice.
Yeah.
At least twice.
Yeah. And Netflix, I know they're looking for more and more content. You know, it's the battle of the streamers right now, so I get why they would want to do this. But who's the audience base? Because in truth, I think the only people that would want to watch this are people who already know the story.
Already know the story, because boxing in and of itself is not as popular as it was during Mike Tyson's
Yeah, because
heyday.
we don't have any good fighters like that anymore.
Right. It's an MMA world as far as sports combat entertainment.
Right.
So I don't know who wants the movie, who is going to benefit from the movie, or who's going to care about the movie. And if it's just a favor, like you possibly suggested, where you have Jamie Foxx doing a favor for an up-and-coming filmmaker.
Do something else.
This just seems below, pun intended, he's punching below his weight.
Yeah, unless Jamie just said to himself, you know what, my Mike Tyson impersonation is unbeatable. I want to do a whole movie about it. Maybe, that's the only thing I can see.
And he's a great impressionist.
Yeah.
But impressions don't make movies.
Right.
And skits don't do well as movies.
He's a great impersonator of Prince when he sings. I would never watch a movie with him talking about
Have you
Prince.
ever heard him do Donald Trump? It's
flawless.
It's amazing.
Flawless.
It is amazing. It doesn't mean I want to still play Donald Trump.
So I don't, maybe some older gentlemen, they get Corvettes. Maybe Jamie makes unnecessary movies.
We'll have to wait and see. Jackie Ray, very quickly, how can people find you?
You can follow me on all things social media at Jackie Ray TV, JackieRae TV. You can find me there at JackieRayTV.com. Make sure you tap in with me, because it is WNBA season. I saw some of you in the chat wanted to talk about Caitlin Clark. I'll get to it.
We'll have plenty of time to talk about Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark over the course of the season. They're not going anywhere. They're going to play each other a few times.
Yep.
Such great people.
There we go.
I know Harry. He's a great person. He couldn't vote for me at the time. Now he can vote for me once he gets out. I love Snoop D-L Double G. Great person.
So do you love Death Row Records?
I love Death Row. I love Death. Excuse me. Fake
Flawless.
news. I love Death Row.
He's so good.
Flawless.
He's so good. But I wouldn't want to see a movie of that.
No.
It's great for an SNL bit, but that's about it. We'll see you soon.
See you soon.
Hey, Stefan, I think you're going to have to run and get some food because when we come back, we're going to talk about the most popular burger in each state. Oh. Yeah, too much good stuff. Mark Ronner has the news.
Well, it's later with Mo Kelly on KFI AM 640.
Live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app, YouTube, and Instagram. Yes, I love me a burger. I don't have them as much as I used to, but I do love the taste of a burger. Cheeseburger specifically. And if we go around the country, it varies. And we have a map, which is put together by DoorDash, of the favorite types of burgers via state. You have the choices of chicken burger, cheeseburger, turkey burger, regular hamburger, and veggie burger. I don't know why veggie burger should be on this list. That's apocryphal. That's horrible. I can have a veggie burger. I mean, look, I will listen to like a Beyond Meat burger because at least tastes like a burger.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
It's a good analog.
But not veggie.
No. I've had a black bean burger. It didn't taste like, no. Mm-mm. Veggie burger, no, did not taste like it. But if you're wondering what the burger of choice is for California, you'd be surprised to know it's a chicken burger. That's a contradiction in terms. Arizona is cheeseburger. Nevada, Oregon, Washington, and Idaho, Mark, all good old-fashioned hamburgers.
That's it?
That's it. That's the top burger according to DoorDash.
Kind of dull?
Well, look at the states. They're all dull.
Okay.
Am I wrong? Wait, don't laugh at my jokes and not give me a rim shot.
No, that's not a rim shot.
Wyoming?
Unearned.
Their turkey burger.
Even worse.
Montana, and let me see. Yeah, Montana, North Dakota, and South Dakota, they are all veggie burgers. That's surprising.
That's actually legitimately shocking.
And Michigan and Wisconsin, also veggie burgers.
Weird.
Yeah. This is according to DoorDash. State of Illinois, veggie burger. State of Missouri, chicken burger. Nebraska, want to take a guess? They seem like a real meaty state, right?
Yeah, you would think. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just regular hamburger.
Okay.
Texas, there's got to be like a
double, triple,
right?
Bacon,
nothing but red meat, right?
Yeah, it comes with paddles.
According to DoorDash, and I'm calling bullish.
No.
Chicken burger.
I don't think so.
No. Well, barbecue, I guess. But
yeah, but it would still be beef. It wouldn't be chicken.
Yeah.
Louisiana, according to DoorDash, is also a chicken burger. Carnatius said no. Mississippi, turkey burger.
That shouldn't even be a thing. That's for pinko commies, turkey burgers.
Alabama, Keith Jackson, veggie burger. Hell no.
Negatory.
Fumble.
This is kind of shocking that all the South are like into veggie burgers.
Florida and Georgia and South Carolina, they are chicken burgers, according to DoorDash. North Carolina is turkey burger. Maryland, going up that eastern seaboard, is turkey burger. And I'm a little slow on the draw because they don't tell you the name of the state. I'm just going off of memory, just looking at the map, what state is what. I know it's a skill. New York. Any guesses there?
I'd say cheese.
Mark?
Let's go out on a limb and say cheese.
Veggie burger.
Come on.
I know.
This is invalid.
I know. And Pennsylvania, it's a chicken burger, according to DoorDash. California's a chicken burger. I can almost believe that. I could. I really could.
Yeah, I can hear the argument.
I can see chicken or veggie burger in California.
Exactly.
And you have to eat it while you're wearing a Che Guevara t-shirt.
Right. And that's about the only state it makes sense. I caught that, Mark.
Well, and I'm not even, there we go. What's it take around here?
A lot. No,
because his pronunciation was so bad. That's why
I'm so sorry.
And then I got it.
Maybe Senor Cabezas can correct me.
Well, he does speak a little bit of
please.
Spanish. How much Spanish do you speak?
It's slight. I can get by, but
what about your parents?
Not too. They're pretty pronounced. I mean, they know how to speak Spanish.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know if it was a conscious decision on their part to either teach you, because some friends I have, they say their parents did not want them to learn a language. They want just the full immersion in English, and that was it.
That's what happened. They taught me Spanish. That was my first language growing up. And then when I went to school, my mom made me learn English.
Mm-hmm.
So
I hear that all the time. Yeah. Very quickly, Alaska. What do you think they want up in Alaska?
Now, they have to get this correct.
Hamburger.
It's got to be a hamburger up there.
It is hamburger.
Nice.
Yes. Hawaii.
A hamburger with pineapple on it?
Chicken burger?
Chicken burger. Okay, and you say what, Mark?
A burger with pineapple on it.
It says hamburger, does not say pineapple, so that's probably close enough.
Okay, all right.
And that's about it. Yeah, I mean, cheeseburger was only in 4 states.
This is so disappointing to find out about our fellow citizens.
Look, you would think, mom, hot dogs, apple pie, cheeseburger's got to be right there, right?
Yeah.
No, that's not the case.
That's weird.
Look, this is the most popular burger by state according to DoorDash, whatever that means. Whatever that's worth.
What even is a chicken burger? That's against the laws of God and man, and I'm against it.
Well, I think of it this way. I like chicken sausage, but I don't think of chicken or like a chicken link. I'll eat a chicken link, a chicken hot link, but I'm not eating a chicken burger.
Yeah, it's just a chicken sandwich
right,
at that point.
Right at that point.
It's what, like a chicken breast or actually ground chicken?
No, it's ground chicken in the form of a burger.
Yeah, I don't think so. Negative.
I'd rather have a chicken sandwich.
Thumbs down from all the judges.
I would rather have a chicken sandwich or a chicken link before I'd have a chicken burger.
Same.
You're wasting everybody's time.
And I'm not eating a veggie burger. I'll eat a Beyond Meat burger, but I'm not eating a veggie burger. Tastes completely different. It tastes like vegetables. That's the way I can describe it. Squashed together. It doesn't taste like any type of meat substitute or meat analog.
Well, some of those fake meat burgers actually don't taste too badly.
No, the Beyond Meat and Impossible are the two best.
I think Beyond's probably the best.
Probably. The Beyond, they don't do well with the sausage. And I've tried their sausage, like the breakfast sausage. Doesn't quite hit the mark. But the actual burgers, the quote-unquote burgers.
Yeah, because they even have it has like not to be grotesque, but it has like the blood like a regular patty.
Yes.
It
has a reddish streak to it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it's fake blood?
It's not blood, but
I forgot what it is that they use, but yeah.
It's a coloring that's added.
Yeah. But it looks like an actual piece of beef.
And the consistency is very, very close to it. It's very close. Like if I didn't tell you, Mark, in advance, it probably could fool you if I didn't tell you in advance.
I'm not against those. I've had some because of the company I keep.
Really?
Yeah.
That was the only reason I actually even started trying them or eating, because at the time my wife was a vegan. She's less than a vegan now. I don't know what to call her, but she's eating some stuff that's not on the vegan menu. And so I started trying that, and it wasn't real good at the beginning, but it's gotten progressively better over the years. Now, it's not something I have all the time, but it does cut down on the amount of red meat intake that I have.
Men your age need to watch their red meat intake.
Look, it's true. It's true. I don't eat cheeseburgers and steaks like I used to. Then there's a good reason to, because I just don't. I don't want to have cancer too soon.
That's right. Less red meat, more prunes. You
keep
need
myself
to be
regular.
Careful. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Anything else you want to know about my?
No, I think we're good.
Okay, it's later with Mo Kelly. KFI AM 640 live everywhere, the iHeartRadio app and YouTube and Instagram. And we have your horoscope when we come back. The color, I almost said colon. The color of your aura based on your zodiac sign when we come back. Yes, the color of your colon. Mark, take it away. It's later with Mo Kelly. The color of your aura based on your zodiac sign. We were really over last segment, so we're going to have to rush through this. Aries, your aura color is red. Red represents the root chakra and is most aligned with Aries, who connects with this energy center, is the color of passion and desire, which the fire sign resonates with. Red allows Aries to be adventurous and spontaneous while charting new territories, giving them the courage and strength to fight battles. Taurus, your aura is green. Green is a sign of creativity and love, two of the significant attributes that Taurus holds near and dear to its heart. Venus, the planetary ruler of Taurus, aligns with green because it represents money, romance, and sensual pleasures. This is all the more reason for green to show up as an aura color for the Earth sign. Gemini, Mark Ronner.
I'm listening.
Your color is rainbow, which is not really a color, but
okay.
It's like
yes.
It's like all.
Are you outing me tonight? Is that what's happening?
I'm reading.
Okay.
I'm reading the paper.
Sure.
Gemini is known as the most versatile sign of the zodiac, and its twin symbols often associated with a rainbow aura.
Versatile.
This connection highlights the full spectrum of emotions and traits that Geminis experience throughout the day. As multifaceted and dynamic individuals, the rainbow aura adds depth and variety to this air sign's personality.
I'm not that versatile.
You got that right.
Just so everyone knows.
Cancer, you're silver. Silver is associated with the moon, the planetary ruler of the sign Cancer. Silver auras are extremely rare and indicate that a person possesses strong convictions and a deep connection with the world around them. Those born under the sign of Cancer are in tune with their emotions and the rhythms of the universe and have a natural ability to be empathetic.
That's foosh.
Leo, your color is orange. Orange is a vibrant and creative color, much like the astrological sign Leo. They are linked because Leo is known for its desire to express itself and showcase its unique personality. Orange is closely associated with the sun, which rules Leo, making the two a perfect match. They both provide energy, and they provide each other with energy, enthusiasm, and originality. Virgo, your color is tan. A tan aura is found in someone responsible, reliable, and methodical. They have a chill approach to matters and calmly deal with situations. Virgo always puts reason above emotion, which is why a tan or A is profoundly aligned with the earth sign. Also, Virgos have a grounding energy that connects them to having a robust tan aura. Libra, your color is pink. Pink is the color of love. No other zodiac sign except for Libra can wear this color better or with more pride. Libra, who represents the air part of Venus, loves the color pink because it's romantic and references their heartfelt sentiments. Scorpio,
let's go.
Your color is magenta. Magenta is an intense aura, aligning with one of the most ardent zodiac signs. The color infuses stubbornness, intuition, and fearlessness. Scorpios embody those qualities, even though they keep them hidden from those only in their close circle and orbit would be privy to. This color can influence others, which Scorpio is known to do from an emotional place. I'm a Sagittarius, and my aura color is teal. Get the F out of here.
It is teal. You're a very teal young man.
Yeah.
A blue or teal aura represents someone who is an optimist and enjoys life to the fullest. Sagittarius individuals are known for their quest for knowledge, fun, and good times. As a result, these colors can effectively symbolize them. Additionally, this color will support Sagittarius on their recent adventures by helping to protect them from encountering issues along the way. Capricorn, your color is doo-doo brown. Capricorns are creatures of habit. Although they work hard and enjoy life, they prefer to maintain their routines and live without drama. The aura color doo-doo brown allows them to connect with their earthly sensibilities.
Are you embellishing this?
No, it says brown.
Okay.
It says doo-doo brown?
Doo-doo brown.
Okay.
Doo-doo brown, like the song. They tend to stay away from theatrics or trouble, which they find preferable. Aquarius, your color is urine yellow. A yellow aura symbolizes someone who is highly...
Are you sure you're not embellishing this?
No, that's what it says right here.
Okay.
A urine yellow aura symbolizes someone who is highly communicative and upbeat. The moon was silver. This yellow is urine. As an air sign, Aquarius easily expresses their feelings, making this ability a natural trait. They possess a positive vibe that many admire. Like the color urine yellow, the water bearer avoids negativity and strives to eliminate... Grow up, you guys. Come on now. Grow up.
You grow up.
Eliminate any unneeded energy from their life. Pisces, as we close out, their color is indigo. Individuals with indigo auras are often considered extraordinary. The indigo chakra is associated with heightened empathy, psychic abilities, and sensitivity as it connects to the third eye, also known as the sixth chakra, much like the sign of Pisces. This color, which is linked with the water sign, encourages those with indigo auras to embrace their dreams and visions by providing them with spiritual insight and a sense of enchanting mystical power. And that's the color of your aura based on your zodiac sign. And I told you just what was on the sheet. I didn't embellish it in any way.
No, I like magenta. It's like blood.
It's fancy.
Scorpio
You're in
blood
yellow.
magenta.
You're in yellow, doo-doo brown, doo-doo brown, doo-doo brown. You don't know that song, Mark. The half black side of you should know that.
Maybe you should teach me.
Oh,
Look
I
it up
can't teach it to
carefully.
you.
Look it up carefully on your computer.
On a company computer? I don't think so.
No, you can look it up on it. Just don't look up the video. You can look up the song.
I'm going to wait till I get home, if that's okay with you.
Okay, when we come back, the box office returns, and Sinners is still a movie phenomenon. That's next. KFI AM 640 live everywhere in the iHeartRadio app. It's Later with Mo Kelly. We're live on YouTube, the iHeartRadio app, and Instagram. You may remember on Friday, Mark Ronner gave his Ronner report for Final Destination Bloodlines. The movie, I would say, overperformed at the box office, shattering expectations. It was number one this week. Now, let me give you some context. Even though it shattered expectations, it came in with $51 million domestically. To give you some context, Sinners, in its first week, came in with $60 million. Here's some more context. Sinners was number 3 this week, just barely. It brought in another $15 million. But here's the strange part, or ironic part. Sinners this week, in its 5th week in theaters, was in 3,518 theaters. In its 5th week. It has not lost any theaters in its first 5 weeks. In fact, it has gained theaters for 5 successive weeks to now be in its widest release of 3,518 theaters. Final Destination, in its first week, debuted with 3,523 theaters. Meaning, if Sinners had the degree of theater coverage that Final Destination had in its first week, Sinners probably would be doing even better now. It's taken 5 weeks just to get up to 3,500 theaters. And Final Destination, another R movie, 3,523 theaters. So a lot of times, it's about the perception of a movie even before it hits the theaters as to how well it could do. Because there wasn't that groundswell of belief in the movie Sinners just by itself. And you had those half-ass stories being told by Variety saying it was the number 1 movie, it got $60 million, but it's not profitable yet. Remember that? They're not saying that about Final Destination, which had an inferior first week.
There was a definite slant to the coverage of Sinners. There's no mistaking.
That's why I wanted to slow down and explain that even though Sinners has grown in number of theaters for 5 consecutive weeks, and it is a movie phenomenon, it still is not in as many theaters as Final Destination.
And by the way, I stand by my word on Final Destination Bloodlines. It was a terrible movie, but it's just inexplicable, the Rotten Tomatoes score it's gotten. I don't know what it is today, but when I was making my notes Thursday night, it was somewhere around 93%, which is insane. It's a breathtakingly stupid movie.
Well, it has a loyal following. In other words, so whatever that movie could have been, it could have been just absolute garbage, to your point, and the Rotten Tomatoes rating probably would have been the same.
Well, go ahead, Fush.
Oh, I was just going to ask, was the 93% the critics rating?
That was the critics score.
What?
Really?
That wasn't the fans?
No, but you've got to remember that critics aren't into horror films. Like I was joking around, but it was a serious point on Friday. They would rather be watching Emilia Perez. They don't get horror films, and so you'll go down the list of their blurbs and see like it was a bloody good time. And it's like these guys don't know what they're talking about.
Wow, I didn't know that.
But it exceeded its budget. It had a $50 million budget. It made $51 million. I think the outward level of its projection was $45 million. So it kicked ass this weekend.
Final Destination Bloodlines #1. Thunderbolts barely holding on to #2, holding off Sinners at #3. A Minecraft movie still hanging around at #4. It brought in $5.9 million. It's at $929 million. I don't know if it'll make $1 billion. It has fallen off in the past few weeks, but it's been in theaters. This is the good news for movie theaters. It's been in theaters now for 7 weeks. That's what movie theaters need. They need movies to perform well and stay in theaters for a long time. Sinners has been in theaters for 5 weeks. It's going to be in for another 4 or 5 weeks at least.
I had actually read that this Bloodlines movie is already available video on demand. Like you can get it to watch it at home.
No,
I don't have my device to look it up, but I believe it is
cutting their own movie like that.
Well, I had been meaning to mention to you guys that Novocaine movie that just came out like 3 or 4 weeks ago is already on.
Yep.
Oh yeah, it's
Plus.
disappeared.
Yeah,
it's
there.
disappeared from movie lists. It's gone.
No, but it's already streaming on one of the services.
I think it's on
no time.
So the window, to the point that you constantly make, Mo, the window is getting so short that it's got to be something really special to get people off their asses and into a theater.
And that's why the first week is so very important, because if it's perceived as not a blockbuster hit, it's going to leave theaters even sooner. The Accountant 2, it's hanging around. It's doing decent. I can't remember what the budget was, but it's #5 this week at $4.7 million. Its domestic haul is $59 million. It's at $94 million worldwide. That's probably better than what they expected for a movie which didn't, when it originally came out, the first one came out, no one thought it was going to be a sequel.
And this one had like no promotion.
None. It was only like people like me who really liked the first
I only know
movie.
because of you, yeah.
We were eagerly expecting the sequel. Clown in the Cornfield came in at #8 in its second week.
Clown.
I guess it's it, and
I will see that. I will definitely see that.
Okay.
It's grossed $6.6 million worldwide in its second week so far, and The Amateur is still hanging around. It's in the top 10. It's brought in like $1 million this week, and it's brought in $94 million worldwide. I know it had to have exceeded its budget. They didn't spend that much money on that movie, but again, Sinners, Thunderbolts doing, I would say, moderately well. I think it's still trending a little bit behind Captain America: Brave New World, but if it should have legs, it's good. It's a good news for Marvel. It's in its third week. It brought in $16.6 million domestically, and overall, it's at $326 million. Not bad, not great, but not bad.
Okay, so The Amateur had a $60 million budget, which makes it a hit.
Right, because they didn't spend anything on promotion. You saw a commercial almost never.
Once again, just because of you, the only reason I even knew it was out.
Look, it was word of mouth. The word of mouth was why the first movie did well. It wasn't like it was advertised, anything. And it has a decent cast. You talk about Ben Affleck and John Bernthal. It's a decent cast. J.K. Simmons, decent cast. But it's not blockbuster material. Sinners, I think, is going to be able to make $400 million. Which would do gangbusters for a lot of theaters, because if it gets to $400 million, that means it'll basically hand off the baton to the major summer blockbusters. Is it this week we have Mission Impossible?
Yep.
They're promoting it now.
This Friday.
Okay.
Mark and I are seeing it Thursday at 12:55 a.m.
Yeah, you will not be joined by me. No. That means
12:55.
That means the movie doesn't start till like 1:30. And the movie's at least 2 hours plus.
I think
we have the stamina. We have the stamina to do this.
Clearly. I think it's closer to 3 hours. I think it's like 2:45 and some change.
Okay, so the sun will be coming up by the time you get home.
Yeah, it'll be like 4:00 in the morning.
No, that's not enjoyable.
God, that's even too much for me.
I can't even concentrate that long. You need to give me some like methamphetamine or something to stay up.
We're going to be texting you throughout the movie.
So. Oh, it doesn't matter. My phone has a do not disturb. It doesn't matter. Go ahead, text all you want. The only people who can get through are like my mother, the boss, and I think my wife, but she
your
probably
sons,
wouldn't
right?
be texting me. No, they can't get through.
Oh, wow.
They can text your mother. No, they can't get through because they will call on some unimportant BS. Like, hey, are you going to have such and such as on as a guest? You couldn't wait until at least 8 in the morning to
Next
ask
day.
for that because they're on a different schedule as me. No, they're still in that, early 20s, mid 20s, stay up all night into the morning, living on that 24-hour schedule. I'm not. I'm out until I'm up, and that's not until maybe 6 or 7 in the morning. I don't sleep a lot, but I'm not going to stay up past 1 or 2 in the morning to watch a movie. Not happening.
Well, you've got till Thursday to change your mind.
Yeah, it's not happening. No.
12:55.
Nope.
The theater's not packed.
You might as well send a coyote after me. It's not happening. Not happening. That's the callback, by the way. I deserve a rim shot. Thank you very much. I'll wait. It's later with Mo Kelly. We're going to tell you about Sesame Street coming back, but it's going to be on both Netflix and PBS. We'll tell you about it. Mark Ronner now has the news.
Sunny day, sweeping the clouds away. On my way to where the air is sweet. Can you tell me how to get to Sesame Street?
It's later with Mo Kelly. KFI AM 640. We're live on YouTube, the iHeartRadio app, and Instagram at Mr. Mo Kelly. Be sure to sign up and subscribe. And also like. And it'll be easier to find next time around. I'm a kid who grew up on Sesame Street. I make no bones about it. Sesame Street was very instrumental in my growth as a child. I appreciated the lessons that it taught. I appreciated the different characters from Oscar the Grouch to Snuffleupagus, all that kind of stuff. I really enjoyed Sesame Street as a kid. I didn't get the difference between public television and commercial television. It was just a show that I liked. And it's been around for more than 50 years. And for a number of reasons, there has been some uncertainty surrounding Sesame Street, its future, and also other PBS programs. Unfortunately, PBS and NPR have fallen into the politics of the day and somehow have been termed as either being anti-American or biased or agenda-ridden. And it saddens me because that's where we are as a country, where we're more concerned about PBS than we are Russia. But I'll get to that some other day. Sesame Street, though, in a bit of good news, has been picked up by Netflix. It will still be on PBS, but Netflix is going to step in and also offer a streaming component. You may not know that before this Netflix deal, Sesame Street was on HBO Max, or was it? Well, it was Max back then, and they just recently changed it back to HBO Max. But if you didn't see it on HBO Max as a Warner Brothers property, don't be surprised, because I'm quite sure no one else knew it was there. I didn't even know it was there, and I cover this every single day. But it's good to know it's going to be on Netflix. And if anything, you think about the range of Netflix compared to HBO Max around the world, and I suspect that Sesame Street is going to be better off on Netflix than it ever could have been on HBO Max/Max or Warner Brothers Discovery, whatever they want to call it. And I have to say this because I'm a little bit partial to Sesame Street for a number of reasons. Friend of the show, guest on the show, Holly Robinson Peete. If you don't know, you know her obviously from 21 Jump Street, but her father was one of the original producers of Sesame Street. And we've had a few conversations over the years about the importance of Sesame Street for television and just in general. And as a kid who grew up as an African-American kid who didn't see myself much on television anywhere, to see Sesame Street and see us being featured in various roles was very instrumental. It was instructive, and it was important in the early 1970s. It was very progressive, small p. It was very advanced for television back in the day. And you looked at people differently. I should say, you just looked at everyone lived together and everyone got along. You got to see celebrities on the show, and they would talk about the different numbers that you could count. As a matter of fact, Stefan, on Talk Across the Board, I want you to find Patti LaBelle, the ABCs, when she was on Sesame Street. It is one of my favorites. And I know it's not going to make it to the podcast, but it's one of those things that I want to play, because if you are a student of music, or if you love the interaction between real people and the Sesame Street, I guess marionettes, I guess you say, what were they called? Muppets. It was just a way that you could teach kids, and they didn't know that they're even learning. This is Patti LaBelle and the Muppets. And now the Muppets provide backup. It's so good. And then they break it down to a church service. Check it out on YouTube. It's great. Here we go. Thank goodness for Sesame Street. It's Later with Mo Kelly. KFI AM 640. We're live everywhere in the iHeartRadio app, YouTube, and Instagram. Mark Ronner with the news. KFI. It's Later with Mo Kelly. We're still live on YouTube, and want to remind you, tomorrow we're going to be giving away Harry Potter and the Cursed Child tickets to the Hollywood Pantages Theater. In fact, 3 pairs, and there's going to be a video component. You're going to need to watch at least a portion of tomorrow's simulcast to get some information that will help you out possibly winning the tickets. But you're going to have to be logged on to our YouTube or Instagram simulcast at Mr. Mo Kelly. Now I'm just talking to the dog owners, or I should say the dog family members out there. Let's say you have a dog in your family. There is a new study of 1,900 U.S., they say dog owners. I don't want to say dog owners. They're family members who have dogs in their family. 1,900. And it shows that 93% think their dog's health matters as much as or more than their own health. 52% say their dog's health equals their own, and 41% actually put their dog's health first. To put it in other stark terms, 1 in 7 dog families would dump their partner for their dog. 1 in 7. And I think, would I drop my wife for Riley or Benson? And the exchange is you would get 3 more years of life out of your pets if you were to get rid of your partner. Let me think. about that. 3 years more with Riley and Benson if I kick my wife to the curb. Can I get more time to consider that before I answer?
I don't see what the problem is here. This should be an easy decision.
You're saying I should kick?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, don't hesitate.
All right. I mean, because a human can understand. I mean, my wife would understand if I kicked her to the curb for one or both of my dogs. And if I kicked her to the curb for both my dogs, that means I get 6 years, 6 whole years, not just 3. I don't know if I could pass up that bargain.
No.
I don't know. I don't know if I could.
No, what kind of psychopath wouldn't understand something like that?
Now, do you or did you have the same level of attachment to your cats? Does it work both ways?
It kind of does, yeah.
And for me, this is what I think about, not to be morbid, but it's something I do think about frequently. With pets, you get to see their whole life cycle. You get to see them as a puppy or a kitten, presumably. You get to see them age. Unfortunately, you will probably see the end of their lives. It's different with them. And for me, I always think of it as a child who never grows up. They still have a degree of innocence and a degree of warmth that humans inevitably lose as we get older. There's not a day which I come home in which they're not excited to see me, as if they're seeing me for the first time, as if nothing else matters in the world. It's just to say hello and jump all over me and show me how much they love me. I don't know if there's anything which is on that level in the human experience. And I'm not trying to be dramatic. Yes, the complexity of human relationships is altogether different, but there's a purity in our relationships, and I can't speak with cats. I'm just saying with dogs, which is very so special that I as they say, rue the day when I have to say goodbye to them.
I'm still grieving my cats 3 years later.
I completely understand that. And I know that nothing is forever. And I think schnauzers live on average anywhere between 10 and 13 years. I get all that. But there is a warmth and understanding and unconditional love that dogs have for their human counterparts that I don't see anywhere else.
No, human beings aren't capable of that kind of love.
So I understand. I mean, all joking aside, I understand if someone says, I would kick someone to the curb to have more time with my pets. I get that. Not saying that I would. I'm saying I wouldn't dismiss it out of hand. I would have an internal discussion with myself.
I wouldn't hesitate for a nanosecond.
What about your other half? What would she do, you think?
Well, I hope she's not listening right now, actually.
No. But what do you think she would do if posed with the same?
Oh, she'd toss me under the bus instantly. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, I know
those were great cats.
Yeah, I know my wife would get rid of me. I know that. She doesn't even have to say that. I just know how she looks at me. Put it this way. There's how she greets me when I get home, and there's how Riley and Benson greet me when I get home. It's not the same. It's not the same. There's when I wake up in the morning, and Riley and Benson jump on me and greet me, and they literally hug me. They will lay with their paws around my neck. They hug me.
No human is that excited to see you, okay?
No, my wife rolls over and looks at me. It's like, this motherfucker's still here.
And in fact, you and I don't have enough money to pay another human being to feign that level of excitement.
Like, if I could just get rid of this guy. It's not the same. It's just not the same.
No. So, but they are indoors at night then, right?
Yes, they are.
Okay.
Yes, they're indoors at night. They usually sleep by the bed. Sometimes they'll jump up on the bed. But no, they are very warm. They are very, very, very loving. And I can't speak about other breeds, but mini schnauzers, yeah. They're the closest thing that I've seen to people-like emotions and expressions. Their facial expressions, and we talk to them in complete sentences. So when they respond to us, they're listening to the whole sentence. I'll say, Riley, Benson, go upstairs. Get back inside. Go get the toy. They respond to complete sentences.
That was impressive when you showed them.
The gate,
opening the gate,
the swinging gate.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah, I have to put that back up on my Instagram. We had taught them how to open this swinging gate from both sides. And Benson will use his paw to pull open the gate and then run through. Yeah, they're pretty amazing, Yeah, I think, I'm probably giving her the boot. Yeah. She's probably listening right now. It's like, you damn right. I do the same thing. It's later with Mo Kelly. When we come back, we have our crosstalk with George Norrie, find out what's going on with his show, and also my final thought, and it has to do with Joe Biden and his latest diagnosis of cancer. Mark Ronner with the news.
Hey, it's Conway. Tomorrow after 4 p.m., major changes coming to Costco. We'll tell you what it is tomorrow on The Conway Show after 4 p.m.
KFI AM 640. It's later with Mo Kelly. Let's check in with George Norrie and find out what's coming up on Coast to Coast AM.
Mr. Kelly, we're going to talk about protecting the power grid, and then later on a little dabbling with the occult on Coast to Coast AM.
I sure hope we can protect the power grid, but I'm not sure that we can.
I hope we can too, and I feel exactly like you do.
I'll be tuning in.
See ya.
Tonight, of course, the big news from Friday had to do with Joe Biden, and I was thinking about this all weekend. And just in case you lived under a rock or something, on Friday, former President Joe Biden was diagnosed with prostate cancer, characterized by a Gleason score of 9 with metastasis to the bone. A Gleason score is based on the appearance of cancer cells under a microscope and ranges from 6 to 10, 10 being the most aggressive form. Despite this reality, it doesn't mean the prognosis is either necessarily dire or fatal. But what we as the general public don't know is the extent of the metastasis and what other organs, if any, have been impacted. That's the medical portion of the news. The political portion, that's pretty obvious. This has already been used by Republicans to further push the narrative that the Democrats knew, at least cognitively, Biden's health was declining, saying nothing of his likely physical health naturally declining because of his advanced age. Such is the premise behind the just-released book by CNN anchor Jake Tapper and Axios political consultant Alex Thompson titled Original Sin, President Biden's Decline, Its Cover-Up, and His Disastrous Choice to Run Again. Me personally, I've said many times previously, privately and publicly, that Biden should have not ever pushed to run for re-election. Biden made it part of his original election stance, if you remember, that he was to be a one-term president. I always said it was fair to question whether a second-term presidency with an expiration date of January 2029 was either realistic or even idealistic. I thought it was neither, and I said it many times, and I have the audio to prove it. But Biden made his choice, and the rest, as they say, is history. But just like I said with Biden, it is fair to question Donald Trump. And here's the truth when it comes to presidents and their health, from FDR to Ronald Reagan to Joe Biden to Donald Trump. If you know your American history and you call yourself a patriot, so you should know this, you should also know what I'm about to say is true and has always been true. A president's health, or even lack of health, is a national security issue. Always has been. Ronald Reagan was failing cognitively during his second term. The American public was not and would not have ever been officially made aware while he was president. Now, you can call that a cover-up or whatever, but you will never know if the sitting president even has a peanut allergy, atrial fibrillation, gout, none of that. Much has been made of the results of Donald Trump's many physicals. And you can also call that a cover-up if you want. But you, me, the general public, we will never know his true health status. Yes, we've been told that the President Trump is 6'3" and only 225 pounds. He takes statins. But that's as far as it will ever go. Don't be surprised, though. After he leaves office, you might hear something, and that's assuming he ever willingly leaves office, but that's another story. But don't be surprised if you learn after Trump leaves office that his health was far worse than originally reported. That's the way it's always been, irrespective of party. Part of it has to do with national security concerns, and part of it, yes, has to do with political concerns. Presidents have annual physicals. Joe Biden went from fully fit to metastatic cancer to the bone in 1 year. At least that's what we know publicly. But what's more likely? That he went from completely fit to aggressive metastatic cancer in the past 12 months, or that he was likely already dealing with prostate cancer on some level prior to? Now, according to the oncologists that I talked to and to Google, metastatic prostate cancer is slow and could take up to 8 years to spread to the bone. 8 years. So what is more likely? 8 years or 1? It's a fair question to ask. And we also know that some men are instructed not to get any type of PSA tests or prostate tests after the age of 70. But this is the president we're talking about. But these are fair questions to ask. I'm not talking about conspiracy theories. Fair questions to ask whether Joe Biden was dealing with prostate cancer, though manageable, for longer than we, the general public, knew. But conversely, for example, if Donald Trump had a heart issue, and mind you, that's possible. He has probably the worst diet in the world. He does not exercise. It's possible he could have a heart issue. But if he did, you and I will never know while he is in office, short of dying. Not ever. And I say all this to say, you will never know how good or how bad President Trump's health is. It doesn't matter what he tells you. It doesn't matter what the White House tells you. It doesn't matter what his doctor tells you, because we're not supposed to know. Why? Because it could cause chaos in the financial markets. It could embolden our enemies. It could unravel negotiated hostage and peace deals if you knew that the U.S. president was ailing. You didn't know how close Trump was to death in his first term when he had COVID, did you? Until he left office. And then we all knew he was close to death. And that wasn't any coincidence. We didn't know how close Ronald Reagan was to death after his assassination attempt until well after he was released from the hospital. He was very close. He almost died from internal bleeding and a collapsed lung. The general public did not know that. So let me reiterate when I say this about President Biden and now restating it with now President Trump. You will never actually know how good or how bad a president's health is. The physicals and their truth are never for public consumption. But like we did with Biden, it's absolutely fair to question what we see, what we hear, and the connected behavior and call out physical or mental deterioration. You can't do it with just the president you don't like. Like typing on social media 1:30 in the morning to bark at the moon and demand investigations on Beyonce and Bono just because they and other entertainers didn't endorse him. That's not normal, people. That's not normal for any person, much less a sitting president. And speaking of mental deterioration, it's also fair to highlight the fact that the only people with questions about their cognitive acuity have to take cognitive tests, like Trump. So know that when they say they aced the cognitive test, there is already a question. It is okay to have questioned the mental and physical health of Joe Biden. We need to understand why we're not privy to a lot of things. But if it's okay to question Joe Biden, we must also question Donald Trump. For KFI AM 640, I'm Mo Kelly.